Hare Krishna, Pranagavan Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Is this Shyam Giridhari Prabhu? Can you hear me, Prabhu? Am I audible? Hare Krishna, am I audible?
Yes,
Prabhu.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Please accept my Dhandavat. All goes to Prabhupada.
Yeah, Srila Prabhupada. It is very nice to see you, Prabhu. Very nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. So we can begin with little bhajan.
Yeah, we can start the bhajan, Prabhu. Maybe once for a few minutes, maybe we can start the class when more devotees join. Whatever you decide, that's fine with me.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, I see Mother Shamala Gopika is there too. Dhandavat Mata.
Hare Krishna. Please accept my donation. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Thank you. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari. Jashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Jashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Natera Vanachari Jamuna Tera Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Gaur Pramanande, Hari Hari.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna devotees, please welcome to ISKCON Richmond Saturday virtual lecture session. We especially welcome His Grace Pran Govind Prabhu. Just a brief introduction. I know it's a very big history. We don't have that much time to introduce Prabhuji. Just high-level points to introduce Prabhuji to the congregation. Now, Prabhuji is one of the very senior most disciples of His Holiness Srila Bhavananda Swami Maharaj. Prabhuji's current Siksha Guru is His Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj, and Prabhuji has been in this ISKCON movement, Hare Krishna movement, for more than 4+ decades. He has been serving Srila Prabhupada's ISKCON movement, Hare Krishna movement, in various levels, like, for example, counseling, preaching, distributing books, management level, etc. And Prabhuji has been serving for Alachua Temple almost, I think, 20 years. And other thing, Prabhuji was recently translating Manasiksha of Srila Raghunath Goswami's, scriptures. And there is so much to talk about, Prabhuji, but just because of the time constraints, and without taking any more time, now we request Prabhuji to start the session. Hare Krishna. All over to you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Om Jnanati Mirandhasya Gyenanjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Shapadantikam Bandeham Sri Guru Sri Jutapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatha Nitam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Sabadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakha Nitangscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunnavadi Paschata Deshatarine Vancha Kalpataru Vesha Kripa Sindhu Bhaye Pacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama. First of all, I'm very grateful to be here with all of you because of such a inquisitive and interesting in Krishna consciousness people you all are, that you asked me to serve. Even though I'm not qualified, I'm just an ordinary wretched soul trying to be a servant, but you obviously have a compassion to purify my heart. And it's very nice how Shama Prabhu was asking me that to discuss 2 points. So today I thought we'll discuss about ultimate contribution of Srila Prabhupada in a book format in some sort of, and then next Saturday we'll discuss about the importance of Bhagavad Gita and Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita. Will that be okay?
Sure, Prabhu.
Okay.
Fine.
So with that note, I made a few key points in my own notes that what is the ultimate service to humanity means, if we go from that angle, and why Srila Prabhupada's book, and what is Srila Prabhupada's own comment about his own book and the comment of others, and what can we learn from it, how it is relevant to our day-to-day life. So with that note, I'll just give a little brief what I collected so far in a small notes that between 1968 to 1977, he dictated total 22,000 pages of text. This is just a figure, mind-boggling. You can get it from a Veda base, but you have to spend a little time, of course. And Srila Prabhupada translated and wrote purports to 18,000 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam and 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita, as it is 17 volumes of Chaitanya Charitamrita, in total 2,170 pages or 11,555 verses. Now, out of 18,000 verses, you may say Prabhupada did up to 10th canto, 13th chapter, but the rest of the Bhagavatam, you'll see, is mostly forwarded of Prabhupada's other purport from Chaitanya Charitamrita, and here, there. Prabhupada different contribution through his conversation. He also wrote and published about 147 books, not directly, but from his conversation, from his different dialogues, and they put together into different format of books, and it is 147 books. It's all about Prabhupada's own contribution. For an example, Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, which was the first from the authorized publication. Nectar of Devotion, Teachings of Lord Kapil Dev, Sri Upanishad, Mukundamala Stotram, Naradiya Bhakti Sutra, which is not so much popular. Even some devotees are not familiar with the Mukundamala Stotra, that Prabhupada actually gave such a confidential Rasa Tattva there. Also Naradiya Bhakti Sutra, why Bhakti is so rare. Srila Prabhupada also created Back to Godhead magazine, which was monthly distributed in 1 million copies. He wrote 7,000 letters to his disciples, which was published in 5 volumes of books. I'm sure some of you have it, or you can get it from BBT. Srimad Bhagavatam lecture he gave are compiled into 11 volumes of books. His conversation have been compiled in 42 volumes of books. He produced innumerable recordings, I would say, because some of them is still, even I was getting involved one time to transcribe, but very difficult to hear the conversation because of recording was not so clear. So we're still working on it. He established 108 temples, including ISKCON New Orleans, where I was, and made this data, which was inaugurated on Radhastami 1974. Srila Prabhupada traveled around the world 14 times, visited those temples, New Orleans, New Taliban, 1975, July 31st. Beside this, he changed the life at least 1 million people today who literally confess and appreciate and trying to surrender to Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet. This is just a small token. World yet to see what is coming actually in future. So first, today's topic is ultimate service to humanity. Means, what is that means to us? I found very interesting this when I joined in Mayapur, first time I visited 77, there was something on Bhakti Raghav Pandit Prabhu. His name is now Bhakti Raghav Swami. On his table, that time Namhattu was not yet started so much, just a beginning. He is the pioneer. And then under Jayapataka Maharaj, and Jayapataka Maharaj took over then fully. He had this 4 stick on his table. It used to say, books are the basis, purity is the force, preaching is the essence, utility is the principles. And it still stuck with me for over 44 years. I was like, wow. And of course, I didn't understand those days. I was a little teenager boy. So recently I was reflecting back. There's a famous verse in Bhagavatam, 8th canto, 7th chapter, text 44. It said, what is the highest form of worship to please the God? Tappanti loko tapena sadhava prayaso jana parama aradhanam tadhi purushasya kila atmanaha. And Srila Prabhupada quoted this verse many times. He was not glorifying about him, but he was establishing what is the highest form of worship to God. Now, until I would say dive into it, because I was doing a seminar for entire 8th canto for IBM, ISKCON Bhagavat Mahavidyalaya. When I came to this verse, I remember that verse, that Prabhupada, many lectures, he quoted this verse. It was actually glorifying his position, but he was not using it for his own glory, but he was emphasizing. Because in India, I was there for 10 years, then I moved to the West, but 10 years in 77 to 88, that I always thought, like, ultimately you go and do bhajan in Vrindavan. No need to do sharing with others, distributing books and sharing Krishna consciousness is highest. The ultimate is like you go and sit in Radha Kund and do bhajan. That was my own speculation. But then it was supported also by my friends and other devotees. But then when I looked at, is it aligned with our acharyas? And no. But this sloka is aligned. It is said that great personality almost always accept voluntary suffering because of the suffering of the people in general. This is considered the highest method of worshipping the Supreme Personality of God, who is present in everyone's heart. And then, you know, I when my eyes started opening, I saw it. It's in Bhagavad Gita, 1868. Krishna says similar thing. Jaidam paramam guyam mad bhakteshu abhidashyati bhaktim mai param kritta mame vashya samshaya. When you found this confidential knowledge about me, my relationship with the soul, and bhakti is the essence, when you share this with others, when you discuss with others, you will definitely guarantee you will get bhakti and you will come back to me without doubt. Asamshaya. So then I started looking at ISKCON's different spiritual leader. You know, my spiritual mentors, Radhanath Maharaj, Jayapataka Swami, difference. Why they gave their entire life like preaching and sharing, practicing and preaching, not thinking of going to Radhakund and sit in a cave. Because this is highest pleasing to the Lord. This is what Prabhupada wants us. So those who are practicing and sharing, they are already advancing. Now, it was very interesting that Srila Prabhupada write a letter to Rameshwar Prabhu that in order to change this materialistic society and prevent them from gliding to hell, first thing is to educate them. So education is most important. It will block or it will stop us to go to hell, and it will establish the relationship with this material nature, my relationship with Krishna, Krishna's relationship with me, Krishna's relationship with the nature, nature relationship with Krishna, and nature relationship with me, my relationship with nature. These 6 questions, when it is established, the soul is completely happy in that loving service to the Lord. So Prabhupada writes to Rameshwar Prabhu, all decent men want to give service to humanity. Only thing is that they do not know, or they do not have information really what is that service. People generally think hospitals, feeding the poor, Red Cross, they are the service to the bodies only, not to the soul. Temporary relief, but ultimate problem is the root cause of our suffering, not the temporary result of that. So service to humanity means, Prabhupada writes, knowledge. By giving people knowledge, Gyan, that is the highest service to humanity. So we are performing the actual welfare work of society by informing everyone through our book distribution, literature, who is God, who they are, and what is the relationship between them. In this way, everyone who hears our messages gets the opportunity to fulfill his or her actual position as human entity and become delivered from the clutches of Maya. Now, somebody may say, or some of you may think even, why not just chant Hare Krishna? Why book distribution? Why not just honor prasadam every day, as much you can? Why book distribution? Yes, those are good. I already thought about it because I love prasadam. I also love chanting. But there is something very unique. Why Prabhupada, he established ISKCON, but he also established BBT separately from ISKCON. The publication has to go on. And he gave a lecture on it. Now I was listening some of the devotees' history many years back. One time I was spending a little time with Vaishashik Prabhu because he is the leader of book distribution in our movement. So nice. There's so many devotees, even from Chicago, Param Karuna Prabhu, many devotees traveling and distributing books. In Atlanta, there is a whole group of Bhakti Vikas Maharaj's disciples. They're doing unbelievable book distribution. Why book? Why book? Well, I'm sure we all live in America. I'm looking most of you. You all live in America, looks like. You know the history of America? Journalist Thomas Paine in 1776 sparked the American Revolution by writing and widely distributing his pamphlet, A Common Sense. That is what made America. From that writings, if you really deeply think, one devotee said, what about Fidel Castro? He was in a prison, in Cuban prison, crafted his speech, history will absolve me. Had it smuggled it out of the prison, distributed to the masses, what was the result? The Cuban public overthrew the government and installed Castro as their leader. The power, what is the most powerful things can destroy unwanted thing, not gun or nuclear. It is the book, Prabhu and mothers. Bhagavatam, you know the famous verse 1.5.11. I think it's a favorite verse of Prabhupada and everybody that I know. Tad bhaga visarga janata ga viplava Jasmin Pratislokam Abadavati Api Namani Anantasya Jasa Ankitani Jat Srinnanti Gayanti Grinanti Sadhava. That there was a negative explanation by Narad Muni to Vyasdev. Then this is the verse he turned and he gave the positive. What was the problem with Vyasdev? What is the problem with this world? And everything was explained until that point. And then positive started from this verse. And this verse Prabhupada said so important that on the other hand, that literature which is full of description of the transcendental glories of the name, form, fame, lila, etc., of the unlimited Ananta Bhagavan is different creation. Books are not, I mean, in one level, books are same as deity and Krishna's origin, but books are different creation in Rasagata Vichar. Consideration of Rasa is different. Because books under the person Bhagavat can transcend you and see the pure goodness level where the supreme world, supreme personality of Godhead, absolute reality exists. The power of books so much. But not focusing on the books, only the deity or even holy name. Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur says, worshipping Krishna without Radharani is incomplete and imperfect. Chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra and not understanding and conversing about the glory of holy name is incomplete also. And that is the book format. It's so important. We should chant and also we should hear. Both. Without hearing Bhagavatam, relationship will not be established. So that's why if you look at the translation of that verse 1.5.11, it says such transcendental literature, even though imperfectly composed, are heard, sung, and accepted by purified men who are thoroughly honest. It's so wonderful, the book format. Prabhupada even write that for thousands of years, our own acharyas have invested their time and energy to write and publish transcendental literature meant to create a revolution in the impious lives of the world's misdirected civilization. It is not outside. We are talking also in our own consciousness. What attraction we have for sense gratification, we are shifting it. We see that revolution taking place individually, also collectively. We see we had an exploitation idea, make more money, enjoy life like anything. But that idea is being shifted, slowly shifting. So this hearing Bhagavatam, hearing Bhagavad Gita, hearing Chaitanya Charitamrita and chanting and distributing, it's complete. Only practicing, not sharing, you will not get it. Mahaprabhu said this to Haridas in the conversation with Haridas Thakur. Achar karen keho na kore prachar, prachar karen keho na kore achar. Achar prachar. Achar means your lifestyle, your behavior, your devotional attitude. Achar prachar karaho dui karja, tumi sarva guru jagater arja. Be exemplary by practicing and sharing. Bhaktivinoda Thakur not only wrote prolifically, but also distributed his book personally. You know, Prabhupada mentioned that 1896, Bhaktivinoda Thakur sent that book, happened to be Prabhupada's year of birth. McGill University in Canada received Bhaktivinoda Thakur's book. So, following Bhaktivinoda Thakur's footsteps, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur and his own disciple wrote, distribute books all over India. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur purchased printing presses. Before that, there was no such record of printing presses. And he called this as a Brihat Mridanga. Brihat Mridanga means that which reminds of Krishna. Even made an altar for one of them, placing it next to the deity's altar in the temple to show that it was divine instrument. The printing press. Prabhupada made it very strict and he glorified it. Srila Prabhupada loved the printing press so much, the book publishing. But when the leader of the book publishing in New York was not doing morning sadhana, he was not interested in sadhana, Prabhupada said, close down the department. That means he wants an ideal example, a person who practice and publishing and preaching. Just only book distribution, but not practicing, or only practicing, not sharing. No, it has to be done both. So Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur encouraged his followers to distribute books, saying as soon as a single person will have conceived and sincere desire of undertaking the promulgating of the tithing of Gauriya literature to the peoples of this world, he is thereby enrolled among the agent of divine mercy with power to forward the fulfillment of this expressed wish of the Supreme Lord. Is it any wonder then that ISKCON founder Srila Prabhupada, who strictly follows the mood and methods of his predecessors, writes in his Srimad Bhagavatam commentary. And Prabhupada writes, I remember we read this many times, in our Krishna consciousness movement, all our activities are concentrated upon distributing Krishna literature. So book publication and distribution is our family business. Vaishashik Prabhu wrote a book about our family business. Such a wonderful book. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he confronted with a Siddhanta, he could have said, I'm Supreme God, what I'm telling you, this is the verdict. No. He went to near Setubandha, made a copy of that book and brought it with him, and to remove the doubt of that Ram Bhakta, he gave it to them. And he stresses the importance of distributing these books, knowledge. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even after Mahaprabhu, the Goswamis, Jiva Goswami sent the first big volume of Sankirtan and book distribution through Narottam Das Thakur, Shyamananda Pandit and Srinivas Acharya, the three big preachers. So book distribution is not something new. It is being going on since time immemorial, but at least in Mahaprabhu's time, from Mahaprabhu's till now, it's growing and growing, and it will keep on growing. Those who are taking participation in that, practicing and preaching, I take the foot dust from their lotus feet and I glorify to them. I want to glorify eternally. And we are also doing here in Alachua as much we are capable of. Recently, I got, last week, we got 300 Bhagavad Gita and just trying to give it out every day, just myself. And we have our quota for the temple, and every devotee is trying. We have a few dedicated devotee who goes every day and distributing books. It's wonderful. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about what is this books that originally took the form of Veda, and where does ISKCON books fits in. If you look at the antiquity of the Vedic civilization, we should first of all understand what is Vedas are. And Prabhupada, in few lectures, he talks about it. What's fascinated, I was fascinated when he heard. The Sanskrit word Vid means to know. Hence, Veda means knowledge. Prabhupada said Veda means knowledge. The term Vedic refers to literature and teachings of the Vedas. The Vedic scriptures are the spiritual literature of the ancient Indian culture. Of course, it's written in Sanskrit language. The real authentic English language, until Prabhupada came, there was none. There were from some translation of Bhagavad Gita and other, but not authentic. That's why Prabhupada put that Bhagavad Gita as it is. So those Sanskrit language, they comprise of huge collection of books, which include even material, even PhD, anything they teach. It's all originally coming from Veda. Vedasya sarve ahameva Veda. Then in second chapter, Krishna also told to Arjuna, Trigunna Vishaya Veda. Veda also compiled to attract those people who are in three modes of material nature. So any mundane knowledge is all coming from Veda. It's not something new. So Vedas are immense in both their size and scope. Quantitatively, Bible and the Quran do not compare. The Vedas easily surpass the lengthy ancient works such as Homer's epics and the sacred canon of China. For example, I'm sure you all are familiar. Mahabharata, one of the Vedic history texts, has how many stanzas? 110,000 four-line stanzas, making it the world's largest poem, approximately 8 times as old as Iliad or Odyssey combined. And if you look at Ramayana, another Vedic history, on the other hand, consists of 24,000 couplets. The Vedic literature comprised not only Rig, Sam, Jojur, Atharva, 4 Vedas, but there is a Puranas, Itihasas. It encompasses all the literature, uphold the Vedic tradition and culture. Talking about Vedic scope, it includes the nature, the universe, and a grand hierarchy of living beings. Non-humans, humans, humanoids. You can imagine anything. It's all there in Vedas. There is a large section of Vedic literature dealing with details description of non-material world beyond the entire fabric of time and space. For the earthly humans, However, the Vedas prescribe a balance between their spiritual and material lives. The Vedic social system combines the material impetus with the spiritual dynamics and places a great emphasis on civilization as a precise tool for both material and spiritual upliftment. Veda is not against sense gratification, or Krishna consciousness is not against sense gratification. Krishna consciousness is in favor of purifying the sense gratification idea. So what is the purpose that we only focus only few? Based on this, that we need to focus on internal change through our daily practice or social change through activism. Now, as a ISKCON devotee, should we focus on just internal change or should we focus on social change? Why ISKCON devotees, generally, whatever you think of saintly people in India or other Vaishnavas, it seems like ISKCONs are like a little difference. It appears, it's a fact. Why? Because our primary focus in Gauriya Vaishnava tradition has been on internal change. That is correct. So as the other saintly people in Himalayas or Radhakund or anywhere. However, Srila Prabhupada went a step forward and used this Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita scriptures as a means for social commentary to bring about a change in the society. And Prabhupada said, he has come to create Brahmanas, and Brahmanas should inspire others to bring about a change in society. And I'm sure you heard that. Few times Prabhupada said, I have come to create Brahmanas. So Krishna conscious outreach can happen at multiple levels, depending on an individual's inspiration. Generally, Krishna conscious tradition, until Prabhupada came, is to, I would say until Bhaktivinoda Thakur came, is to inspire people to go one step higher and nourish their own heart. Not so much about the social structure or transforming others. So if we see our tradition has primarily focused on internal change, as I mentioned. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur lived in Vrindavan at a time, I'm sure you all are familiar, when the Mughals, Aurangzeb, he was devastating the temples in Vrindavan. That time Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur was there and he was writing Bhagavatam and Gita commentary. But what surprised me, that he never mentioned anything about Mughal devastation anywhere in his commentaries. So traditionally, scripture has been a primary tool for philosophical exposition. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was the first one to write books in social issues. I just did a seminar on Jaiva Dharma for 2 months through the IBM, and we went, and there was so much social issues. Bhaktivinoda Thakur bring it out, comparison with different religion, even different ethics. So when we look at his commentary on Chaitanya Charitamrita, Amrita Prabhava Bhashya, that is simply spiritual commentary. He has addressed social issues in his other books like Tattva Vivek, one book. Prabhupada glorified Jaiva Dharma. That's another book. Prabhupada went one step forward, used scripture as a means for social commentary. This is unprecedented in our tradition. Even Bhakti, Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur did not do this in one sense. You can look at, scrutinize. Srila Prabhupada presented Krishna consciousness as a social activism kind of program. He wanted to bring about a change in the society. Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur also wanted the same thing. So when we talk about change in society, what we are talking about, you may wonder. One level is preaching. Preaching is inspiring people at individual level to take up Krishna consciousness. Recently, I'm involved with the Sannyas ministry, and we do 5 levels of this year to train the other Sannyas candidates at a community level, as above is congregational level, above is crowd level, above is committed level, above is core. It is collaborating with Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana, Kriya like this. But we give a practical relevance, how we see it. That verse that I was quoting, Tad Bhaga Visarga Janata Aga Viplava. If you look at that verse, what Prabhupada is doing, he is representing Bhagavatam to the modern world in a pure form. That verse written maybe 5,000 years back, spoken by Narad Munis, written by Vyasdev, literature which is full of transcendental glories of the Supreme Lord is directed towards bringing, I'm repeating that, about a revelation in the impious lives of this world misdirected civilization. The words in Bhagavatam will bring about transformation in the society. But that is ultimately not immediately. You may be seeing like, oh, so much book distribution, so much Harinam, we don't see big changes. It's coming, gradually coming. We have to push more. Bhagavatam may not call upon, oh, there is a, irreligious ruler, Mr. Trump or Joe Biden. We are not, Bhagavatam is not going like that. We should overthrow them. No, Bhagavatam does not promote those things. Bhagavatam is talking about removing the irreligion in one's own heart. I hope you understand that. When we talk about social transformation, doesn't mean we overthrow the government. No, that's not what it is. We are interested in transforming the heart of each individual, American, Indian, wherever we are. So, Prabhupada in his commentaries, I remember, he talks a lot about purifying oneself, practicing strict sadhana, becoming liberated, and going back home, back to Godhead. Going back to Godhead is a primary theme of Prabhupada's purport. At the same time, Prabhupada talks a lot about changing society. In the later part, I'm sure you heard all those lectures probably of his life. He talks a lot about establishing Varnashram Dharma. Right now, a lot of our ISKCON leader talks about it. So we have to understand Prabhupada's mood, and we were discussing recently with a few devotees, and Anuttama Prabhu was visiting also here in Alachua. He's our local GVC here. And in our discussion was very interesting things that came up, that we mentioned that there is a 3-way we can see this revelation. One is within our religion, particular group. It could be in Richmond, Virginia, or in Alachua. We inspire people to rise higher and higher. We also rise ourselves. We also inspire other devotees to go up, next level, next level. That means we become committed practitioner of Gauriya Vaishnavism as Prabhupada has taught us. That is one level of outreach, isn't? Then there is another, it's called interreligious. That means we work with other people of similar interest, religious values. Like for an example, was very fascinating I never heard it before until Anuttama Prabhu mentioned. Prabhupada wrote a letter to the Pope saying we should work together to counteract the atheism. And Pope got the letter, responded. So we can follow Prabhupada's example, customize it in our own way. Interreligious does not necessarily mean Hindus and Christian. It could mean within the Hindu religion also. We work with different groups at different times. That is also one level of outreach. There is a third category, exo-religious, means we work with people who are not religious, but there are some common ground. For example, we can work with groups who may not be religious, but they may be interested in making the world greener. I'm sure you're familiar with that because we go many groups for preaching purpose. More eco-friendly. In Alacha, we have eco-farm. And we got a lot of people just pass by. They work in the farm and they end up coming to morning program, chanting, and they eco-friendly and they're very favorable. And some of them join, some of them just keep on growing, go to another eco-farm, another place like this. So they may also be suited for us. There are many ways to outreach those people. Now, because of the time, I all of a sudden notice I'm going to talk that what is the speciality of Srila Prabhupada's books. To me, what attracted me, now I'm begging apology if you misunderstand me. I'm not putting down any other acharyas in order to promote Prabhupada's position. But what I am trying to say, how Prabhupada actually helped me. If I only had access of all our acharya without Prabhupada's commentary, I will give you a few examples. One example, the definition of pure love. You all know that verse, Anna Vilashita Shunyam. The whole Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is beginning from that. The definition of pure bhakti, pure love. But what I was missing, well, I want to enjoy life too. What about these Karmis? They enjoying life. But what Prabhupada did in his preface of that book, Nectar of Devotion, is not in any Acharya's book. It is his own compassionate nature that he expressed to attract those lost souls like myself. And it's so relevant. He says people are hungry. In one place he said people are hungry looking for food, but not for stomach. They are hungry for heart. And it's interesting how Prabhupada said bhakti means devotional service. Bhakti connotes devotion or love. Love implies service, activity to please the beloved. Then Prabhupada writes that the basic principle of the living condition is that we have a general propensity to love someone. You'll never find this part anywhere in any acharyas, at least what I found. And then Prabhupada writes, no one can live without loving someone else. And then he explained this, what is that means. He explained that in a primary stage, a child loves his parents. I saw when a little baby is born, only knows the breast milk. I was there to do the mantra chanting to purify for that baby. And baby started sucking milk immediately. There was no television, did not learn from anyone. Was like a instinct, natural, born with, started sucking. So that child started loving his mother and breast milk. That's all the world is for that child. And then Prabhupada writes, when that child grows, he realizes he has a brother, sister. And he grows more, he starts also loving them. And he begins loving his family as he grows. And more he grows, he starts loving his friends, neighbors, the society, the community, the country, nations, even the whole human society, Prabhupada says. Okay, that's very nice. But what's the problem? It woke me up when I read. Prabhupada said, the loving propensity is not satisfied even by loving all human society. That loving propensity remains imperfectly fulfilled until we know who is the Supreme Beloved is. Love can become all-embracing only when we understand that Krishna is the Supreme Beloved. He is the root of all creation. By embracing Krishna, him, one successfully embraces everyone, as pouring water on the root of a tree successfully nourishes every leaf and branch. I was confronting a professor who I knew for a while. He grew up as a Catholic in America, here in Gainesville. And I literally spent a couple of hours and just conversing with him back and forth. I said, do you see Prabhupada's point in the preface and introduction? He said, there is a problem of loving incompleteness, not completely satisfied. Can you relate to this? Tell me. And then I explained. I said, sometimes even your relationship with your wife or children and other, sometimes you like certain aspect of that relationship, you want more, but your body is exhausted. You cannot get. Can you relate to that? Can you relate something you like and some you don't have enough, and something you don't like, you are imposed, forced to get that? And he agreed. And then I tried with another doctor. He's also outsider, not a devotee. Just to see these two principles, Prabhupada says, the problem with the mundane love is a bhoga, tyaga, and chapala sukha. You can read details in the preface and introduction of Nectar of Devotion. And how it is flickering, and eventually everybody is disappointed. And if you break down to this, and then you turn them around, why they need or they are looking for that pure love, which all along within them. They have the idea, feeling, but they can never experience uninterrupted love. And Prabhupada writes, to achieve that pure love, we need to practice sadhana to awaken that bhav. And that awakening only will take place when you accept an authority called Guru. Such a wonderful breakdown. And just to let you know, they both of them actually started chanting. They are just Western body. Of course, you may think like, my God, how many hours you have to spend? Well, some thoughtful people will not just buy into immediately, but we can remain very gentle. We can, actually Mahaprabhu said, he is going to establish this eternal religion, Prema Dharma, through the behavior, through the attitude, through the character of his devotees. Prabhupada is more well known, not only for the knowledge, but his relationship with each devotees. Bond them so tightly that they gave up their life for him. Because Prabhupada sacrificed himself. So many things I can literally I found in Prabhupada's book, which was so relevant to the conditioned soul right now. That's why Prabhupada's books, particularly Prabhupada's book, is the most important for any conditioned soul anywhere right now in this world. If somebody reads Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela 25 264, the famous verse, Jivan istarite Prabhu Brahmila deshe deshe apane asadi bhakti korila prakashe. To deliver all fallen soul, the Lord traveled from country to country. Now tell me, anywhere you ever heard that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu traveled country to country? I love Srila Prabhupada's godbrother Siddhar Maharaj, who said, until Swami Maharaj, means our Prabhupada, he said he read this, Prithivite Ache Jata, Prithvi means the earth, but he thought the Prithvi means just the India. He said it is Swami Maharaj, Prabhupada, who actually manifested and actually took Lord Chaitanya to travel from country to country, and still today, and it's going to happen for next 10,000 years, and delivering every soul. If you look at that verse, you will have a confusion. You will say, did Lord Chaitanya really travel from country to country? Is he really delivering still now? It says that, like that. Yes, it is. It is happening. And Prabhupada is the one who revealed that. And Prabhupada gives a very wonderful explanation that amongst many spiritual masters, this is my understanding about him, who have carried forward Vyasdev's legacy, the position of his divine grace, our Prabhupada is distinctive. Srila Prabhupada was the commander who fulfilled the propensity of Lord Chaitanya, that holy name will be chanted in every town and village of the world. And we can go on and on, actually whole day night discussing this. Because of the time, I'll end with this appealing my prayers to the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada, and you all can also join if you like. The dear Srila Prabhupada, last few weeks since December started, the marathon started, I was deeply thinking, and every day I write one line just to think about what the purpose I have come. I ran away from my house to join ISKCON Mayapur. Why? I asked this question: what was that brought me there? Am I getting it? Am I progressing? So I submit myself to all of you Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, and I'm sure you all are growing in a high speed also, and try to share this. So I wrote something like this, that sometime as a practitioner, like we all are, myself, we ask the question, can we keep going, keep giving, keep serving, even when people frustrate us, disappoint us, ridicule us, criticize us in unkind ways, showing an astounding lack of appreciation and gratitude? Believe me, mothers and Prabhus, anytime this happened, I think of Prabhupada. Prabhupada, you did. You kept on going, you kept on giving, you kept on serving. Can we keep going, keep giving, keep serving, even when there are reversals, obstacles, intimidating, complication, which seems like insurmountable, thoroughly deflating? Yes, Prabhupada, you did. Can we keep going, keep giving, keep serving, even when Krishna's reciprocation is not immediately clear? I'm sure some of you felt, sometimes you desperately need help of Krishna, you prayed, but you don't hear the answer. When baffling events starts transpiring contrary to our hopes and expectation, there are few stories Prabhupada kept on going. Yes, Prabhupada, you did. So, Prabhupada, your service, sacrifice, and surrender is of the scale. You are luminary of devotion, powerhouse of love, the irresistible force that smashes through every material barrier imaginable. Your seamless connection with Lord Krishna, mediated by Sri Guru, was entirely uninterrupted. For you, the pain of not serving far outweighed any perceived pain we encounter within service, and therefore, in every situation, however challenging, you could not stop serving with love. I remember the story. I'm sure you have many stories. How Harishwari Prabhu told me one time that dentist told him that for 3 days he should not speak to anyone. This is a severe pain he will have going through. After few hours, Prabhupada said, why nobody came to, generally 4 o'clock, some dignitary comes, either professor, doctor, some educated people to come and sit. Nobody came because they canceled. Prabhupada said, my happiness comes when I can glorify, establish Krishna in the heart of those conditioned souls. You are depriving me. Oh, but you're supposed to feel so much pain. Prabhupada said, there is no pain. The pain is there, but I have no focus on it. That was his mood. Giving, right till the last breath. There's a famous song. I sing, at least many devotees sing. Tumara sevaye dukha hoye jato, seva to parama sukh, seva sukha dukha parama sampada, nasaye avidya dukh. Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, what's the devotee's view about the pain, challenges, difficulties in progressing spiritual path? He composed that song in Saranagati. How can I ever make it? So distant from such purity, stone-hearted and dry, I shudder to think what Krishna must feel like to be on the receiving end of my apathetic offerings. I sometimes wonder if I will ever get there, but then I smile and beam with hope, knowing that I am counted to the powerhouse of love. You come to our level, captured our imagination, conquered our hearts, Prabhupada, and connected us to the most mystical movement in creation. Though a beggar, impoverished in love, your brilliance is drawing out some devotion from my still-framed heart. Please accept me as a tiny servant in your master plan to jolt this crazy wood out of spiritual amnesia. Please give me a chance to serve you. Everything else, quite frankly, feels like a useless waste of time. When all this is said and done, our connection with you will be our saving grace. And begging to remain close to your lotus feet, Srila Prabhupada. So I beg and request all of you, increase your sadhana this month, because sadhana actually gives a power, empowerment, and distribute as much possible. I end here. Thank you, Prabhu.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Pranabandru. Very nice, very beautifully explained the importance in the books. And thank you so much, Prabhu. And now I would like to request any devotees have any questions, comments, would like to raise or share with Prabhuji. If anyone has any questions, please unmute your line and you can ask any questions, comments.
Or any reflection, I would love to hear.
It seems to Shamala Gupta Mataji. Mataji, you can mute your line, Mataji. You can unmute your line.
Yeah, thank you. Sir. Hare Krishna. Please accept
Hare
my
Krishna.
Thank you so much for the wonderful speech. So one question regarding the book distribution. So sometimes like when we go and we'll be waiting for so long time and people are not interested to get the book. So how to stay enthusiasm even if no books goes? So that is.
Very nice. You know, that reminds me of that Mahaprabhu says, Apuni achari dharma jeep ke sikhai, apuni na koile dharma sikhana na jai. And it's very interesting how our devotee right now, at this moment, actually exhibiting this. I give you a few examples, maybe one example, at least for Vaishashik Prabhu. He was so wonderful. You know, he has a mischievous, mystical smile. So he's distributing books and he approached this lady. She said, I am a Catholic. Sorry, don't have any interest. And Vaishashik Prabhu smiles and says, that's so nice. We all are on the same path. We're going towards God. Isn't like a only thing in life. And this is a common to everyone. And he said, that is so nice. I'm inspired that you are Catholic and you really following Jesus. And this lady looked at him. He said, really? Say, yes, you are following. We are following the same. We're going towards. Jesus was a pure devotee. That's all. She said, but I'm not interested to your philosophy. I follow Jesus. He said, wonderful. There is no difference. Don't worry. So they ended. After 30 minutes, this lady comes back. He said, you know, I'm practicing for so many years. Nobody inspired me like you did. Even though I'm not buying the philosophy you're giving, but just to make you happy, I'll buy this book. How much? And she took it and she started reading few minutes. He said, even though I said I'm not going to buy the philosophy, but there must be something makes you guys happy. I'm going to read it. She left. We should not be disappointed at any cost because it is Krishna who is guiding each soul. We are only praying, Krishna, Mahaprabhu, you want, you send Prabhupada. Through Prabhupada, you engaging me. I'm only an instrument. Please send those great souls who you want it back home. Let me give them the book. Please engage me. Please. Please, Nitanda Prabhu. Please, Mahaprabhu. You are the one. You said, you'll be surprised how many great people come. I went to Walmart and we are distributing books, a group of devotees, and we take different parking lot. You know, we don't want to go right inside the store, but outside in parking lot. So it was very interesting. And I'm just thinking, okay, I'm going to just give this book within like these two people. Well, I could not make it. But still, I try to smile and genuinely, I feel happy because happiness does not come only when people take the book. Happiness is a decision. I hope you all know that. There are 4 types of happiness in devotee's life we see. At least that's how I see. I didn't say 4 types of Shastra said. 1 types of happiness comes that we made a decision. We want to give this life to please Prabhupada and Krishna. Krishna did not say, as soon you say you are Hare Krishna, you will be like fully happy. No, he said you have to purify the consciousness. So at least the decision we made, and that decision purifying is happiness, actually. I feel that way. I mean, the consciousness is purifying, definitely. It's also happiness. So happiness is also decision. Happiness is also emotion, like a different way of happiness. So then on the 3rd person, I said, well, okay, I'm not going to take a vow whether I'll definitely give. If it happens, Mahaprabhu, you will get. And this black body, this lady, with shopping cart, loading everything, and I'm nearby. What do you want? She said, you want to take your book? I said, I think God will be very happy if you take this book. Really? Let me see what is this book. I am a Christian. I said, yes, me too. We all follow the same God. Don't worry. And she spent like half an hour talking this philosophy, that philosophy. And then she gave me, I was surprised. This book was, generally we get $5 or whatever. She gives $20 and she said, write your name and phone number. If I have a question, I'll call you. I said, sure, mother. Oh, you call me mother? I said, yes, all the ladies are mother to us. He said, that's so nice religion. I like it. So she took it. So like this, I can see what you are saying. I'm sure probably you already experienced more than that. But sometimes we may have a disappointment. Somehow we have a success, but it's all good. Because that's all we're supposed to do. Endeavor, try our best. The result is up to Krishna. Krishna must test whether we have a genuine interest. And you'll be surprised. You'll meet some people. And by the way, actually, next day, I met one of Prabhupada's disciples that was away from the movement for a long time in an old van. And I knocked the window. I said, I have here a book, Bhagavad Gita. And it's a whole, Western body with the beard and long hair. He said, Hare Krishna, I'm a Prabhupada's disciple. I said, you are? You look like very old. You could be. What is your name? And then he mentioned his name, and it's like a whole. And then I spent 1 hour talking with him, inspiring him to come to temple, take some prasadam. And so I keep in touch. Sometimes they get a little drifted because of no association, but then you create that atmosphere and they feel happy. So you can look at always positive. It's not the negative, like even Giriraj Maharaj. Now I give you another negative. It's better to have both sides. Positive you got, negative. Giriraj Maharaj told me that when I was in Mayapur, manager, Maharaj used to sit on my, it's called gadi, not a chair. It's like a cushion, comfortable. And Maharaj told me a story. Sometime not necessarily you'll be success making life member. I said, Malla, tell me some story about Prabhupada's involvement in the life membership when you were making life member in Bombay. So he said, one time I was not happy. And then Prabhupada said, what's the matter? You look not happy. He said, because Prabhupada, I go to this man, Indian businessman in Bombay. And first time I go there, he sent his secretary. He said, I'm busy, no time to see. Next time I go there, he sent his servant and the blind is, or the curtain is closed and says, he's not here. Babu is not here. I know he is there, his car is there, but he's not. The third time I go there, he said, no time to see. I'm just disappointed. I'm trying so hard to give him some books, and this other life member inspired me to give him. If I can do it, he said he will give me another life member. So I said, okay, I'll try. So I'm trying 3 times. Prabhupada was so mercifully explained to Giriraj Maharaj. He said, I'm paraphrasing. He said, Krishna does not want everyone to immediately join. Krishna wants that particular soul has to go through some struggle, suffering, because he or her has some contamination so bad that they have to go through a period. So Krishna not necessarily sanction that. We have to take it like this. That yes, that soul will come. We did our best, but it will take a little time for him to come. Maybe next life, or he has to go through some suffering. Now, I like Harishwari Prabhu also. One time he said, but Prabhupada says, even if somebody has a struggle or suffering, we still have a free choice. We can change the reaction of our suffering if we choose to appreciate Krishna and devotee. If a Karmi is taught to appreciate, they can minimize the suffering. Krishna will minimize their suffering. Just like Prabhupada said, did they chant? No. Did they say Hare Krishna? No. Did they give you donation? No. Did they take prasadam? No. Then what was the purpose of your preaching? So if we have a few key points, like Prabhupada said, 4 things I found on that. I said, chant Hare Krishna. You can say, can you say Hare Krishna? Just like this professor corner, I go there in a corner where the university, and then anybody walks, just very busy life. I say, excuse me, can you say Hare Krishna? Hare Krishna, why? I say, you already said, thank you, that's all. It's just a little, their bhakti already began. Or you give them a cookies or some prasadam. Get them some donation. That's all. Or take a book. One of the 4 things Prabhupada said, that immediately they get bhakti unmukhi sukriti. Nothing is lost. So I hope that helps you, Mother.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. And one more thing, small thing is when we say, many people say that I respect Bhagavad Gita, but like I can't able to study. So if I keep the book in my home and if I'm not studying, that is an offense to the book. So I don't want to get the book. So they say like this. So how we can tell them?
Maybe it depends on the person. You can say, just if you look at the book and appreciate, I'm not saying you'll go to hell, but even if there was a chance, it will stop. Would you be interested just to hold the book and keep it in your shelf, give it a little donation, keep it, and just appreciate, that's all. That will be enough to stop gliding down. Because you have no guarantee at the moment of death, where are you going, up or down? So if you give few tips like that to them, they will appreciate, because everybody has a fear what happened at the moment of death. Whether they're believer or not believer, does not matter. They do have a fear. And I do this purposely, just like this. There was a 3 black guy on the other day, and I had a higher taste. I said, I have a 1 book, but you all are 3. I don't know who to give. So what is it about? I said, this is about making yourself happy and never have to suffer. So one guy said, well, let me see it. I said, no, you have to pay for it. Give some donation, then I'll take it. I'm not charging you full price, just little donation. I don't have any money. Okay, I have $1. I said, that's fine. Just give me $1. He took it. Then the other 2 guys said, no, we want that one. I said, if you meet me here after 1 hour, I'll go and get it back. They said, no, another day. Okay. So if you have to create an atmosphere where they will feel to take it, that is up to us. Or Krishna will inspire. Definitely you can create that atmosphere. Like you can think of Radhanath Maharaj, I'll never forget that. Because he was here many years back, And some devotee said, oh, there is the professor coming, Maharaj. He does not like Hare Krishnas. He doesn't want prasadam. He doesn't want anything to do with the Hare Krishnas. And Maharaj, he has a little mystical smile. He just went there. Sir, would you like a cookie? Said, no, I'm sorry, I don't have anything. Sir, my mother made the cookie. She will be happy if you take one cookie. Oh, your mother made it. Okay, let me see it. He just created it. So this professor took a cookie and he took a bite. He said, that's very good. He said, my mom will be very happy to hear that you liked her cookie. And he took it. I said, would you like one more? I said, sure. Then he took it. So later on we asked Maharaj, Maharaj, it's not made by your mother. You lied, Maharaj. Maharaj said, I'm a sannyasi. All the Matajis in the temple are mother. How did I lie? That's true. So we have to create, and it works. And more we create, not that we lie, but there is a underlining all our discussion, there is a compassion flowing. That is a fact. And more we are giving out, more we see satisfaction within us. That Krishna is using me. Prabhupada was a genius. When Prabhupada sat down in Allen Ginsberg audience, nobody knew him. No, there was no ISKCON. Only thing he had a box of books. And there's one strange fellow, homeless guy. He comes and he sat next to Prabhupada in the back of the stage. And he said, they advertised today there is some Swami speaking, but Prabhupada had a saffron. Is that you? Prabhupada said, yes. He said, oh, so you're going to speak? He said, yes. Then immediately they announced, Swami A.C. Bhaktivedanta will speak now. Please, everybody have seated. So Prabhupada engaged this stranger, first time meeting. Within 5 minutes he talked. He said, can you watch my books while I'm speaking? Is that okay? He said, okay, no problem. And in the class he's giving, he said, if you all liked what I said, you can learn and grow more. My friend over there, he is watching my book. He will take the money from you and give you the book. Now he just made him for 5 minutes. He already engaging him to distribute the books. And he did. This is Prabhupada's creation, revolutionary creation. There was no restriction, nothing, any opportunity, as long we are willing to serve. That's all has to come from within us. Sorry, it took a long time, but just wanted to give you a little.
Thank you so much.
Such a nice answers, Prabhuji. Very nice, very beautiful examples as well. Thank you so much. Any other devotees have any questions, comments, realizations that they would like to share? Looks like no.
Okay.
No.
Everybody is eager to go and distribute books. That's so nice. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for inviting me. And next Saturday, we'll discuss about the glory of Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vancha kalpataru vishya kripa sindhave vacha patitanam pavane Vaishnave namo namo. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Richmond Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Gaur Pramanande Hari.
His Grace Pran Govind Prabhu ki jai.